are in the happiest place, or could be construed as the happiest place, at the New York Comic-Con 2015, New York City, second greatest city in the world. Maybe, that's up for debate. Anyway, here we are with the fellas from Skin Tight. Now, I went to their party, their Comic-Con launch event, and I had a great time over there. All these people tried to get me drunk. There was more crack showing than Marion Barry's Rec Room, if you catch that reference. You got to admit, there was a lot. How can you have a costume
but the crack
contest?
there was hot.
Yeah, okay, well, whatever.
So
tell us about Skin Tight. I saw
I'm
more
Matthew.
people's
I'm the
asses.
Director of Skin Tight USA, which
I'm
is
talking about asses. Okay, go ahead.
New York City's longest running and only LGBT superhero community event since 2005, focusing on body positivity through cosplay, superheroes, and nightlife events.
That's his Twitter.
Yeah, right. We
God
basically
damn, what a
let
mission statement that shit is.
we let your inner superhero villain out. Big, bold, out. Pink letters.
You know, I got to tell you, I can't tell you how excited I am in a lot of ways. Not every way, but obviously we're tired after 18 hours of Comic-Con here.
Oh my gosh.
But I'll tell you, I got to tell you something. I can't tell you how excited I was when we start talking about inclusion in cocktails and comics, and about the things that because we have a lot of kids that are LGBT and whatever initials and acronyms need to be doing, something that'll be new defined next
like
week.
8 acronyms.
Yeah, and I mean, and they're really all present in Comic-Con. And there's a lot of people that I believe are alone amongst 50,000 people because there's not, that's my personal feeling.
Well, Comic-Con is weird because it's one of those places where being a nerd is such like a niche thing, but it's also such a huge community inclusive. They get younger and younger every year, and there's no outlet for these kids. There's no, like, Comic-Cons are their thing. Like, that's where they go to express themselves properly, and having this sort of booth, these outlets, these printing houses that we're working with this year, we're with Prism Comics and Northwest
some of the fine
Press.
stuff that Everson the author, writer, that's some
David
great art.
Ebersole has some amazing books. We work with Zan Christensen and Ted Annenbaum from Prism Comics out on the West Coast, so bringing them here into New York Comic-Con, working with other LGBT organizations such as Geeks Out and Gay Geeks of New York to really create an all-inclusive LGBTQ community sort of effect for New York Comic-Con is really an amazing task that I'm very, very happy that we could be a part of.
Well, it's been kind of a big 36 months, say, for the LGBT community in the sense of inclusion. Huge. What I've seen is that with all the inclusion in the comic and pop culture. Culture, okay, we all knew the guy who owned the store in The Simpsons, okay? We all had that thing with the Japanese Santa guy.
It started with North Star from Alpha Flight coming out, which was in the mid-80s,
but I'm really talking about the idea. I'm really talking about the idea. In the last 60 months, we've seen transitions of superhero through race and gender.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now what we have seen is, hopefully we see soon, where there will be an openly gay superhero in the movie setting. Where they're
on TV now.
Yeah, I understand that.
S.H.I.E.L.D. just released its first LGBT character for part of the Inhuman storyline in last week's episode.
And that's a big thing. Because while it's been in print, and people, there's always got to be the thing.
Absolutely.
And eventually we're going to see, it just happens to be what people are about.
It's the natural evolution of society and culture and comic books and pop culture.
Yeah, and I think, the funny part is that what I've always thought about the LGBT community and the straight community, or as I would really say the judgmental community, is the idea is that nobody is only their sexuality.
No, that's such a tiny part.
It's a tiny part because as you get older, guarantee you figure out how much it's so small it is.
Oh man.
And when I see this stuff, I'm happy. I'm really just happy, and it makes me smile. When I see the kids come through the booths and the stuff, and they're holding hands, and I had 3 princesses, Disney princesses. I had Mulan, Pocahontas, and Snow White come through, all wearing Chucks, all guys holding, and they're young guys, and they felt the freedom in their cosplay and be here to be what they were.
That is amazing.
And I just all I did was make me happy.
I wish I was around to take a photo of that.
Yeah, well, you can't be a voyeur of everything now, but what I'm saying is that the deal is that made me happy. And what makes me happy is to see people walking around the cons where there's acceptance, where it used to be just green hair.
Yeah.
Now it's, you
Or like,
know.
or the weird little anime ears
Yeah,
and the
or people-
foxtails,
yeah.
which I'm wearing,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay, well, there we go. That's too much. But what I'm saying is it makes me happy. It makes me to see that there's more right with the world in this sense than there is wrong. We can hear about the Kim Davises and we can hear about all those people that want to hate. Haters going to hate, you know, y'all. But what I'm saying is that it makes the idea for me that, and something that I love and something I've always told everybody I'm not a huge comic book fan, so to speak. I enjoy the art, I enjoy the talent. Those are things that I'm a vampire of those creative aspects. What I've seen is that in this community, as a comic book community on the whole, it's kind of like, you know how the classifications, even the nerds have levels. As what we want to call nerds. Like, oh yeah, well you're an animal, you can't come, you're a Pokemon. Oh yeah, you're DC, you're Marvel. And I'm like, and I thought to myself, I never want to know all that much. But what I see is people happy. What I saw is my two dads, my two moms running around, bringing their kids and giving me great smiles and making me happy. And that's why really, Skin Tight, you do a lot of great stuff. I know you work with a lot of kids and you guys working with a lot of philanthropic stuff that's going on. And obviously you keep people's mouths shut. So Spidey hasn't said a word, but either is Lantern. So they're all malnourished, Skin Tight people.
Well, not really.
No.
Yeah.
However, when you're doing, 38 hours at the con and you're working a booth, you tend to forget, like, oh, wow, I actually have to eat something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So what has been your impression about, I went by your booth today. We've had some people, I think people were more receptive of your booth and interacting with you that would not be classified as out, right?
Yes, which was actually really cool. We actually got approval to do a really interesting thing called an LGBT Passport initiative for the New York Comic Con, which is a conglomeration of all the LGBT booths, organizations that have panels and artists and creators and everybody that's involved in vendors for the con submit all of their panels and all their locations of the con, and we create a nice little pamphlet and booklet so that anybody that wants to know about these things can go to those specific places in the con, because as anybody knows, when you go to a Comic-Con, there's just so much here.
Yeah. Well, we're lucky because we get in early. And I'm here from the time that the doors open and they move everything in.
Well, the good thing with the Passport, is that it drives a focus to the LGBT community for diversity and cosplay and pride.
But you never want to be, now let's be serious, you never want to be separate
from
from everything. You know what I'm saying? Because there could be a situation where, okay, this is the LGBT role.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It may be the LGBT Passport, however, it is a Comic-Con event.
Okay, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? You don't want
thing.
all the LGBT artists like your artists, even though you're sharing a booth right now. You don't want them all in, okay, that's the rainbow row.
No, not at all.
Because it's not about separation, it's about integration of all creative spirits, all pop culture, all people's acceptance, love, all that good stuff.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Every positive vibe.
The Passport was created as a drive to get people to go to all the different places in the con. So people were directed towards toy vendors, people directed towards cosplayers, people directed towards comic book dealers.
And I truly believe
everything.
Comic-Con is probably the gayest friendly thing there is on the face of the earth. Even probably, to tell you the truth, more friendly than Pride's.
I agree, completely.
Yeah.
Pride
you don't have angry drag queens.
There's way too many political things with Pride. Yeah. Comic books in itself is such a universally acceptable thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a binding thing between geeks and nerds and pop culture.
But it's not. It's we classify people as geeks and nerds because it's cool now that we can do that. Okay, you know what? What it is? It's a group of people that have like-minded interests, and that Comic-Con is truly a celebration of what's going on here.
What really happens is that all the kids that grew up in the early 80s that watched all those Funimation cartoons with He-Man and G.I. Joe and all those, we're now adults with our own kids.
Yeah.
So we're feeding it down that generational line, and all of our kids are growing up with the same stuff we have. So it's...
Only for 10 times the price.
That's true.
Yeah. So I mean,
progress.
Yeah, it is, and I'm really happy, and I was very honored to get your invitation to come to your thing. It was very gracious, and Joey works with you with his social network, and he does in New York. He does gaming.
He does events called GuySocial.com, and they do non-traditional gay social events. So instead of being the traditional thing where everybody goes to the bar, and gazer tag, or
Gazer tag? Why
Gazer
does
tag,
everything
like
have to
gazer
have a
tag.
G put on the
oh
front?
come
of it?
on, the thing is called laser tag, and you're getting a whole bunch of gay guys to go and see it. You gotta say.
So
gazer
you don't say
tag.
gay. You could say homo tag. Oh, I guess
It
that
doesn't
would
have
be
the
way.
same PR
Yeah,
spiel.
exactly. That's mean, right? Homo's a harsh word. That H.
I think it would be homo like restyling.
Tell everybody where you can meet the guys, and
can
if you want
find
some you want some skin tight outfits like them. Yeah.
Right, yeah. All of our events. We've been celebrating a national 10th year anniversary Comic-Con tour this year. We're closing it out with New York Comic-Con. And what we do is we go around to every event and we have parties and events for their Comic-Cons. And we provide about 50 or so laundered superhero suits.
Good thing you said laundered. There is a market for
are
some
you
dirty
kidding?
shit too.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a lot of our sponsors.
Yeah,
We
no
get
kidding.
sponsors, donations, companies to give us all these suits that we provide for the patrons. And we do contests, we have drag performers, we do.
Who was the drag
everything.
performer that was doing the raffle the other?
The one from
That
our
was
last event?
confused Von Blonny, right, or whatever it was.
No, her name is Erica Clash. She is
Yeah.
actually very unique. She is the only anime cosplay video game drag queen ever.
On the left side of the street at midnight.
No, her costume was a Japanese-inspired kimono that transitioned in the middle of the song to a Mothra costume.
I missed that part.
For
didn't
Godzilla.
I missed that part.
So
Right?
it
Was
was
that during the
actually really
raffle that I
ingenious.
missed?
Yes, that was
Yeah.
during the raffle you missed.
Yeah, that was during the raffle I missed.
Yeah.
So
It's
give
just-
them the website again.
The website to go to for
And you're
all
gonna
of
hear
our
because we're gonna
events.
have gay
They
updates.
are a monthly event in New York City, currently being held at Nowhere Bar. The first Saturday of every month, we call it Superhero Saturdays. And the website to go to for every information you need to know about our parties is very simple: skintightUSA.com.
There he is. Skin
Doesn't
Tight
get
USA.
more simple than that.
Well,
and
it gets
it's
kind of
perfect.
it's kind of complicated if you ask me. No. Anyway, here we
Not
go.
really,
We're gonna close out from tonight with Supercom because we're all exhausted. Are you telling? Are you exhausted?
I want to go to bed.
Yeah. Are you exhausted? Yeah. Are the Skin Tight boys exhausted?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's
so.
time to
I'm
go to
just.
bed.
We're gonna close out tonight. Good night from New York Comic Con 2015. We're here at the Bagaboo Bobo Yo-Yo
Yogi
booth
Boo.
with Mikey's great stuff. We heard a lot of great people.